Personally, I'm someone who recently has been struggling with watching TV shows. I'm not a huge fan of the week to week model. I'm really good at watching that with cable, streaming services, not that much. It's very easy for me to fall off the wagon with a show. The only exception for me, I think, has been WandaVision. Even then, I fall off the wagon for a bit and caught up later. Very much more of a binge watch model. And even then, it's not really common of me to binge watch a show recently. I'm very much more into movies. So for me to binge watch a show, it's quite surprising when I do it. And the last show that I was able to really love and get into, like binge watching wise, was Pose to the point where it became one of my all-time favorite shows. And the fact that I watched Love Victor, a show that I had been meaning to watch for a while since it first came out, I was able to watch season one and season two, and now season three in the span of 3 to 4 days. It's quite telling of how good this show is. Hello, everyone, and welcome to For the Agenda. My name is Huang, and today I'm here to talk to you about Hulu's Love Victor Season 3, the final season. Now, for those of you who don't know, Love Victor follows Victor, a new student at Creekwood High School, on his journey of self-discovery, facing challenges at home. He adjusts to a new city, and he struggles with his sexual orientation. So season three finds Victor still on that journey of self-discovery, but not only is he deciding who he wants to be with, which if you saw season two and you know that cliffhanger, you know there are people waiting to find out this answer. More broadly, he also has to figure out who he wants to be. Now, with some post high school plans looming, Victor and his friends are faced with a new series of problems that they must work through to make the best choices for their future. So, right off the bat, I have to say, Love Victor Season 3 continues to be not only a very entertaining show, but a great show as it continues to expand on difficult discussions on some realistic and important topics. I think Season 2 really delivered and stepped it up when it came to these talks that they're having. But Season 3 does a really good job with these conversations. This is a non-spoiler review. I will not go into specific details about the show because this is something I know fans have been waiting for a long time. And I'm here to say, as someone who, again, I watched the show seasons one, two, and three in 3 to 4 days. I have not waited as long as fans for each season. I personally feel that this is something that shouldn't be spoiled for you. And I'm actually quite amazed at how much they didn't show in the trailers. It's quite impressive because a lot goes down this season. I mean, the fans are in for a really great season full of shocks, full of surprises. Even I was surprised at some points. The seasons were very fresh on my mind. So the surprises were pretty great. If you can, I would definitely recommend rewatch season two before this. I personally make a marathon out of this. I might still do that when it comes out, but such a good show. Such a good show. What I love about this show is some shows tend to go 45 minutes, an hour for an episode. This show, each episode has 30 minutes, 30 plus minutes, sometimes less, sometimes more, but it's so consistent in its quality and it's so entertaining. It makes for such a great watch that I personally enjoyed it even more. I'm pretty sure I would have enjoyed it if it was a 45-minute episode, but the 30-minute module just works so well for the show. I I loved it. It's very easy to binge, very easy to enjoy. Now, this is definitely more of an emotional season, not just because, of course, fortunately, this show is ending, a little bit more on that later, but the topics this season discusses really hit home. They're very real topics that I feel the conversations are happening now in real life. Like season two brought the drama. Let me tell you something. For me, this was the encore. Like they go there on certain topics and they definitely go there with certain storylines. It's so good. Like just like season two, it keeps that mature and adult tone while also delivering some really great humor. The show is really great when it comes to delivering jokes. They're very well placed, very well timed. Everyone's comedic timing here is really good. And of course, it's such a well-written show. Now, when it comes to the topics, the very teenage topics, it deals a lot with the topics of, for example, how far are you willing to go for a relationship, as well as other tests relationships have to go through that are a little bit more challenging, etc. Now, when it comes to the overall cast, Everyone in this cast is fantastic. For me, this show, casting wise, is perfect. I can't see anyone else doing these roles. It is just picture perfect casting. I love it. I also really love that with this show, you have people who actually look like they're in high school or about to graduate high school. You know, you don't have 29-year-olds playing high schoolers where it's kind of obvious they don't belong in high school. Here, it works, it fits, especially in season one. I think that's really great. And a lot of the characters here are just so likable. And that's definitely due to the acting from this cast. And to be honest, everyone here takes advantage of their screen time. There is not a weak link in this cast. So let's start off. Michael Cimino as Victor. He just keeps getting better as the seasons go on. He's fantastic. He portrays the character so well. He has so much charm. And the season is also able to add an emotional depth to the character that adds a perfect balance of what his character goes through. I personally really love Victor as a character. Now, George Sear as Benji, really great this season. I loved his storyline this season. It's very much more emotional. We do have some conversations about his character, which I wasn't expecting to go into, but I'm really glad we did. It definitely, for me, added more of a layer to Benji. George Sear does a fantastic job here. Anthony Keevan as Raheem. I'm so glad he got a bigger storyline this season. You know, he's someone who really stood out in season two. And here, you get to see how great of an actor Anthony is. Like, fantastic job. He's so good. I really liked his comedic moments. His timing is really good with those jokes, but I also loved seeing the emotional sides. You see more of his background, his life, and I really liked it. I definitely got more connected to Raheem this season, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed his art. Rachel Hilson as Mia was really great. I loved her vulnerability this season as her character. She has some choices to make this season. I thought she delivered her role really well. It was a really great storyline this season. Anthony Turple as Felix, he's just as delightful as always. I fell in love with Kid Felix's character right away. He really brings great energy to his scenes. BB Woods Lake has a great storyline this season after season two's cliffhanger, and she really does a great job in her role. I was definitely rooting for Lake. I was trying to see where she was going with the role, and she really just she shined every time she was on screen. She was fantastic. Mason Gooding, for those of you who saw Scream, you know, right now my top film of 2022, he's having an amazing year so far, and he really does a great job here. What I love about Mason Gooding in this show is, you know, he doesn't always have the most screen time. However, he makes it work. He continues to do so much with the typical jock role, but he always manages to steal every scene he's in. He capitalizes on his screen time. Even if he doesn't have the most lines in a scene, you will always remember his presence. And I've really become attached to his character. I really love him as an actor. I am invested. I will watch whatever he wants to star in at this point. You also see more of an emotional side to him this season. When it comes to Mason Gooding, he has a lot of charisma, probably the most charisma in this entire cast, and it's infectious. You just can't help but like his character. He's someone with a really bright future. Everyone in this cast has a really bright future. The entire cast, they are insanely talented. I see a lot of potential here with any future projects they sign on to. Now, Isabel Ferreira as Pilar, she's given more to do here, and she does a really great job with it. I really like Pilar this season. I connected more with her. I got to see a new side of her, and I definitely was interested each episode to find out what was going on with her character. I think that's really great. Now, there's one new cast member who is a really great addition. You've seen him in one of the trailers, and that is, of course, Nico Greetham. His character is Nick. I got to see him in Dramarama. He was really good in that movie, and here he is just fantastic. What a great addition. He's someone else who pops on screen. He does a really great job with what he's given to do. I really liked his storyline as well. I really think he adds a new energy to the show, and I think that's great. Also, another thing I wanted to point out with this show, something I love is the consistency of the soundtracks used in each season. They all contain really great songs that fit the show perfectly. At times, I didn't know what song was on, so I opened up the Shazam app on my phone and I was like, what song is this? And I ended up adding it to my Spotify playlist. The songs are really great here. I love that. I love when a show or a movie has a really great soundtrack. So I do have a complaint about the show. Very minor, but my only complaint is I don't feel that 8 episodes was enough. Like, I don't feel like we spend enough time with these characters for it to be the end, the final season. Obviously, yes, things get resolved in a way that makes sense, but to me, I just wanted more time with the characters. I would have been happy if they gave us 10 episodes instead of 8. You know, first season, second season, both were 10 episodes. This one's 8. Pose did a similar route, which while I love Pose, I love how it ended. I love the entire journey. Even I wish that I could have had more time with Pose. So that, if anything, it's a complaint, but it's also a good thing because that got me invested with the show. And after season 2's cliffhanger, honestly, I was right that I didn't get an answer right away. But now that I have one, now that I know how the season goes, now that I know how it ends, the journey itself was worth it. We do get answers. And at the end, I'm happy I went on the journey. I am happy that we ended up at the point where we end up. I really like the ending. I think it's really sweet. It's really cute. I liked how it ended. I'm sad that it ended, but I'm not gonna lie. In my honest opinion, I do feel that this isn't the end. Obviously, again, things get resolved, but to me, feels like the door is still creaked open just a bit for maybe a potential return. It just felt like maybe this could have continued with the final scene and how I connected with it and what it ended up meaning story-wise and how you have that connection. I am okay if this is the end. It's probably going to take me another rewatch to be more okay with it. It's a little bit complicated, but I both understand why it's ending here, but I also didn't want it to end. I would have liked more time with these characters. For definitely, if you've been on the journey, waiting a year for the seasons, it's gonna probably hit you more. So yeah, in the end, Love Victor season 3, it for me was a home run. I really loved this season. I definitely think it was worth the wait in terms of what we got as a story. Still sad that it's ending, but I definitely think fans are in for a real treat. Now, this show is premiering on Hulu and on Disney Plus on June 15th. And from what I have understood, it's all 8 episodes on the same day. This makes for an excellent binge this weekend. This is definitely a show I think has a little bit of something for everyone to enjoy. If you have not seen this show, definitely check it out. It's at least the first season, see if you like it. And work your way from there. That is my review of Love Victor season 3. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can hit the like button and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Love Victor season 3. Have you seen it? Are you excited for it? No spoilers in the comments. Again, this is a show I really think you should go into this without being on Twitter, letting this get spoiled for you. Try to avoid social media because again, the show is so good and you shouldn't have this ruined for you if you are a fan. So you can follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Leading Mohicans. And remember, regardless of what other feels about the things you love, it's always for the agenda. Bye.